Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right, so before we get into the essence of the matter here, let me ask you, do you think there's anything morally and constitutionally wrong for the Accountant General of the Federation to hold a meeting?
Yes, it's absolutely abnormal and wrong because we have places in the country we are not at war, such that are unable to meet. The country is a going concern, okay? So it is profligate. To make matter worse, is an accountant that is involved. An accountant is supposed to preserve national income and not to fritter it. One of the qualities of an accountant is to ensure that finance, funds, income are conserved and managed to give the institution or the organization or the country the best financial management. Okay? It's also bad enough that we're in a country where, there's abject poverty. There are a lot of projects that requires funding that are not funded. Human, social capital development. We have schools that are not funded. We have infrastructures that are not funded. Okay? So many things we're required to do. The fund is not there to do them. Then someone is somewhere, because you are the Accountant General of the Federation, you have access to unrestrained funds. Now you are filtering it. And it's not just the Accountant General, but also the National Assembly that approves those fundings. Okay? So many persons are involved in this profligate behavior, wastages, and all that. And ultimately, the president, should also be blamed for allowing such kind of arrangements. People, in so many occasions, people leave Nigeria, they go to other countries to have political meetings. That's okay by me if they are funding it themselves. Yes, we have political meetings here and there, not to get any investor into the country. Just take money, go to somewhere, spend it, and come back. You understand? It's capital flight. You are using the meager resources of your country to empower other economies. Because when they go for those meetings now, they will lodge in hotels, right? They will eat, they will have their pastime, they will visit tourist sites, and they will do other things, okay? So all those resources, we could have conserved them here. We could have had that meeting in a hotel here, pay those money to our hotels here. The hotels will pay workers who work there. The money will trickle down to the dependents of those workers, okay? Then we'll have a value chain, a positive value chain, or something meaningful. But when we take all our money away to some other places, sometimes not like there are even places better than where we are, but for the optics that they went for a meeting in the UK or they went for this and all. How many times have you seen the British Parliament or the government workers in the UK leave the United Kingdom and come to Nigeria to hold meetings? To hold meetings and lodge in our hotels and pay money for this and for that. It does not happen like that. But because of our low self-esteem and inappropriate thought process, we think that when we go abroad to do something, when the media everywhere is agog with information about that, and we'll come back unproductive, spend all the money we have, come back unproductive and begin to look for another way to gather money to go and waste again. I mean, this is not right.
Okay. Now, the federal government has said that it's possible they would save 5 billion naira quarterly from foreign trade. So, do you think this is a facade?
No, I think there is. If the federal government making that projection, they may have looked at what this has cost the government in previous years. You understand? Or ministries, MDAs, they are always traveling abroad They have heavy obstacles. You understand? And at the end of the day, they spend a lot. And if, for example, a conference is like the conference I'll be attending soon in Dublin, if it costs, let's say, 1,500 euros, if it's a government official that is declaring what it costs, they will tell you, they will inflate it. They will inflate the cost of flights. They will inflate the cost of hotel. They will inflate the cost of feeding. And at the end of the day, you have a humongous amount for one person. You multiply it by the number of persons going. So it is costing the government so much because it is inflated. Usually, they inflate it. Then they get someone who they call a consultant that will liaise with the conference, and they pay that person a very huge amount of money and turn around and go back and take a kickback on the person. So we're killing this country. We're killing this country. The federal government will save this money, use it to, cater for the schools, are not cater for other things. You understand? So I think the government is right by saying that they will save as much as they have stated, because I believe they must have benchmarked it to what it has cost government in previous years.
All right, so if you say that it's not a facade, it's often said advice is like castor oil, very good to make, to give, but dreadful to take. Just last couple of months, our president went to Qatar, and on the list of the people who were with him, his sons were there, and so many other people were there. So why would you not say this is a facade, knowing that the president himself is culpable of what he is trying to cut?
The president must start from himself, because one of the problems we have in Nigeria is that we believe that when we make policies, it should only be subjected to those who were leading, and it's very wrong. That's the same thing Buhari did. He was traveling all over the place, even places where he was not invited. He was flying all over the place, wasting money, wasting resources. Wasted resources to treat himself, wasted resources to go all over the place, where he go deliver speeches. Sometimes he's not talking coherently, but he has spent national income to go talk incoherently somewhere. You understand? The president should live as an example. It should be the example that the followers should. You understand? When you are going on a trip and you take your children and you take people from all over the place, fill the aircraft, and you are heading to a place and it's overburdening, and the people you are coming to meet, they are surprised what you are trying to do, what is going on. You understand? The hula baloo, the noise is bigger than the event you are going for. It's heavier than everything. So it's wastages. So the president must learn to control the resources himself. It should start from him. It should be the one who the others should look up to. And if he's spending money flamboyantly and he's doing this thing, he came to Lagos the other day to commission some blue rail line or something, a red line. And on the streets, the number of SUVs that were counted were over 30. These are funds that you fuel the vehicles, you maintain them, keep them in good condition, and all that. You are wasting taxpayers' money. So this is coming from the government, from the president. I would have thought that it should be a sign of sober reflection and repentance. But I know it's very far from it. It's very far from that. This is to order those who are below to cut their size, cut down on this and cut down on that. The leaders are not doing the same. So it will be difficult also for you to have compliance, because people are not supposed to act based on instructions.
Okay.
They should act based on what they see you do as a leader, not just by instructions alone, but by your deed as a leader. They should be able to.
All right. So, in addition to that, the president stated that any government official who needed to go on any public-funded foreign trip must seek and get presidential approval at least 2 weeks before embarking on such trip. The question is, some would say, knowing the antics of the president, his manipulative way of getting people at attached to him, so there could be loyalists for him for a very long time. Don't you think this is another way of manipulating people to keep being loyalists to him?
Well, I don't know of that. What I know is that the policy and the order would have been a good one if the messenger is sincere to himself and to the nation. Okay? If he's sincere to himself and to the nation. It may not be an antic, it may be just that he's trying to cut costs, and maybe he's trying to get public assurance or public leaning to the fact that he's interested in the welfare of the people, or is interested in reducing the cost of wastage in governance. It may just be a media stunt. It may also be that he's serious, okay? That possibly the ministers or head of MDAs have been abusing that privilege. So this will also be a way of checking. Now, asking that if they must travel, they must get a presidential approval. Of course, the ministers are not independent. They are all answerable to the president. You understand? Because he appointed them. So they are not independent. They are not like lawmakers who were voted. They are not like governors who were voted in. President cannot tell a governor not to travel. Obasanjo tried it. It didn't work. He cannot tell a house member not to travel. Those ones are elected. They have mandates of the people. But for those who are appointed, appointment will mean that you are answerable to somebody. And that is the person who appointed you. So he can say, you know what, my cabinet, I do not want any travels, unnecessary travels. If you must travel, it must be necessary. 1. 2, you must get my approval. You understand? The intention may be to cut down costs. The intention may also be not to cut down costs. It's just to control them. Let us not mix it that it is because the president wants to cut down costs. Because he doesn't cut down costs when he's traveling.
Exactly.
He does not cut down anything. He raises everything. So I don't want to assume that the president wants to cut down costs. That is why he's saying they must not travel. I don't want to assume so, because he's not cutting down costs himself. Okay? So, but what I think is required is that the cost of governance must be brought to the barest minimum to enable us fund projects and govern adequately.
Now, some Nigerians have come out to say that this might affect some NDAs who might really need such travel in order to get things done that not necessarily might be gotten here in the country. Now, with this strict measure from the presidency in getting that done, don't you think it is really restricting the course of progress in the country, especially with respect to that?
No. It will not. He said you just need an approval. He didn't say he's going to reject it when such application is made to him. Of course, from the story, there's a window there, okay, that is going to be for 90 days from the story. Whether it's renewable, we don't know, but of course, he said that application is for those who find it necessary that they must travel. So they must make that application to him. And I don't see that application whittling down their logistic or their capacity or ability to travel if it's just for clearance to ensure that truly there's no other option other than that they must travel. I mean, this will be given priority, especially when the time to travel, the duration of what they are going to do there and everything is spelled out. Of course, it's a way of, for me, I just think it's a way of controlling his cabinet. That's what I think, not necessarily to cut down costs.
So let's look at it from other autonomous part of the government, our governors and the way they operate, and our legislators, the way they operate. So how do you think controlling cutting measures in one department and not having that as an overall thing, how do you think that will really cut down the cost of governance in its entirety.
what will cut down the cost of governance in entirety is to change the system of government we currently run. That is the one that will do the whole work. But this one that we're talking about, the president can only talk to ministers and MDA, parastatals of MDA, and what they call it, directors and all that. That is his cabinet. That is where he has powers. He oversees. You understand? Then it is for him now to encourage governors to talk to their commissioners. Okay, not to travel recklessly, but that's persuasive.
Okay.
Or to have the approval of the governor before they travel. And if they have to travel, it must be necessary. Okay, so it's for him to duplicate himself by way of persuasion to governors, especially of his party, which is easier for them to have that done. Okay, but I know that if he does that and he keeps going about with long convoys and all that, no governor will listen to him in that thing he's saying, because he has to live by example. So if he's not living by example, he cannot, impel anyone who is not under his jurisdiction directly to abide by what he thinks he's saying as right. And it's not just enough to cut down costs, if cutting down costs is the reason for this. It's also to come up with strategy and the right policies that will advance and project governance. Because you can decide not to travel and cut down all the costs in the world and still not know what to do to move government forward. So it's not just about don't travel and travel or not travel or get approval. It's also about putting your head down to do the job and advance governance in the country.
Finally, I'd love to ask you. I know you've given a very good advice of what you feel the president can do in order to make this possible. But let's take a look at his inner circle and ask ourselves, how do you think they can equally follow in the right step to ensuring that what the president has said equally trickles down to those that are in his inner circle?
Well, his inner circle, they are the ones who see how. You see, the best way he can go about it, as I've said before, is for him to prune down his own itineraries and his own spending and all that. When he does that, people will follow suit. Then those in his inner circle, if he's able to sell the big picture, because a leader must paint the picture of where the country is going, the direction the country is going. And if everybody comes to terms with that, reducing cost of governance is one of the factors that will move the country forward. Of course, the people in his inner circle will take it further, but they can only do that on persuasive grounds. His people in his inner circle cannot go to the National Assembly and start to tell them where they should travel to. I'll go to a governor or go to departments of government at the state level to tell them all that. So he is trying to set an example, but he's not doing it the right way. He has to live it. If when you live it, you are able to tell others what to do. But if you keep going the way of this COP 28? COP 28 and this other one, they are going up and down from Abuja to Lagos. Not only that, they came with a long vehicle, they shut down the economy. They didn't allow us to go to the island.
Exactly.
You shut down the Lagos economy because you are coming there. This is an economy that is because the economy is running. That's why the government of the state, they were able to build a red line. So you are coming just one day to commission it, then you shut the place down. So I don't know what, and when you look at them, they are not, I don't know what exactly is mystic about them that when they are coming, everywhere will be closed down. It's not done like that all over the world. Go to the UK, anybody is coming on his own. The Prime Minister will take a train, he will carry his bag. So apart from the policy he's talking about and get approval from me and all that, our lifestyle, we have to work on our lifestyle.
As Nigerians.
Yes. In England, for example, now you cannot get the house help. Cities, if my house is the one clean and they go, you'll get into trouble. You employ a normal care worker. You understand? In Ireland, you cannot also, you do everything yourself. You understand? Because it's subjugation. So, but here, not only will they overpower you, they will not also allow you to come out because they are on assignment. So they should allow us to.
I know you are a good critic of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but when you juxtapose him to the past President Buhari, in the last 8 months of his administration, what do you think? Is there anything? Is there something good in the offering?
When you begin to compare Buhari and Tinubu, it's a very tortuous thing to do. Yes, it really affects my mind because I feel that having a PVC, for example, and they put Buhari and Tinubu as the 2 options, and ask you to vote one person, they are just asking you whoever you vote, it makes no difference.
Really?
Yes. It makes no difference because, in fact, you have been completely incapacitated. Because the option of the 2 of them is an unfortunate combination. More unfortunate that we have spent 8 years with one and we are headed for another 8 years with the other. It's going to be a very tortuous 16 years. The type that by the time we are ending the next 16 years, when you see people you know before, you may not know them again. It's already happening. So it's a very unfortunate. The Nigerian society must do something about the kind of leaders forced on them by virtue of the kind of electoral system we have, where it does not matter the electoral system. Once some persons have come together to decide that this person will be the one.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.